involved and the CSU unit, it would be very akin to the dry dock. That's the distinction.
I'm sorry.
Well, the CSU unit, stuff like that, we can move you on. You see, once the police pick you up for public intoxication, let's say, you're going to go to the safety center, and there'll be a video judge, you know, and we're going to say, you want to stay here and let us try to help you, or would you prefer to go to jail? You may pick.
So
We think most will pick to stay where they are.
So dry dock was kind of like
A drop-off point
Like
with no follow-up.
like a drunk tank.
Yeah, exactly.
Voluntary.
Once you got it out, you
drunk
can try
tank.
it out, and,
Yeah, no accountability.
No accountability. And what they say, see, is that these people are going to be watched. I mean, we're going to watch and see, is this working? Is this working? Is this making a difference? Are you doing your follow-up care? Are you working with somebody to help you and for you to move along? Yes or no? It's not going to be that once you leave the door, we don't know any more about you, and we will track you. How many times have you come back? You know, you can push us too far. The point, though, that I want to make very quickly is that your questions are very legitimate, and we can get you some numbers. That will not be a problem that will be accurate. The problem that you have, though, or what we have in Knox County, is that if you don't do this, you're going to spend a lot more. That's the point. Yeah, you can do this, or you can go build you a new pod. He can break ground out here, and a new pod costs something to operate too. He's got to have people.
Yeah,
Where are you going to spend it? Are you going to try to do it in a way that might actually be progressive and positive, that we can deal with the issues, or we just going to build a fence around the whole county? And it's one or the other, Commissioner, it's got to happen now. We can't go much longer on keeping all the balls in the air on this facility.
And that's a very valid point, because since 1998, we have received no new positions. We're now in our 12th year at this facility that we have not had a single extra position in 12 years. Since I've been the sheriff, we've added over 300 beds from our budget. We've doubled bunk cells, and we've added an extra 300 people. We have the same amount of people working at this facility that we had 12 years ago. With the population of the county has risen 30%, and the population of our prisoners has risen about 27%. So what I'm telling you is, we're busting at the seams out here, period. I'm just telling you, something is gonna have to be done.
And to give those numbers, so there were 676 beds when Sheriff Jones took office. We were in the process of building a new pod, which added 192 beds. When Sheriff Jones took office, we looked at the facility, all the committee and everybody did. We went through all the standards and stuff with the state standards, federal standards, and we said, okay, we can double bunk some of that area. We added, by double bunking, we added 168 beds at this facility. In that time period, and I can tell you, I've been the director of corrections ever since, I have not received one more staff member. So our total bed capacity went from 676 to 1,036. We still have the same medical people that were here, the same number of medical staff. We still have the same number of kitchen staff. We still have the same number of security officers working this facility, operating this facility.
No pay
What's considered
raises.
maximum?
Exactly. And really, when you think about that, that's amazing that we're able to do. It's a testament to the people that work at this facility. It's amazing that we've been able to do that. But
The people of the facility are very tired.
Yeah, we've stretched this to the limits.
JJ, one more question that I've heard in my district is, and you referred to this, General Nichols, and also refers back to the dry dock thing, is there going to be a cutoff that somebody can access the safety center only a limited number of times, that if they are frequent flyers?
I don't think we'll put a number on that, but certainly I know that the general will be looking at it to say, enough's enough.
Okay.
And if you can't, we've
So there will be,
yes.
there will be some kind of accountability that this isn't.
I don't know that we'll throw a number out there, but we're just not gonna let you keep coming back and taking advantage. If you're not doing the things that you need to do, then we'll deal with you. We will deal with you other ways.
Okay.
No, everybody keeps asking my question. Y'all reading my mind or something. Thanks, Amy.
Telepathy.
Get that on YouTube?
Telepathy.
That's what we just do, they can read minds.
Well, that's what's so scary, Jeff, is that you're probably the most conservative person on commission, and I'm probably the most liberal, and we're thinking alike on this.
That is
And
scary,
I think you answered the issues about how we do with the video arraignment and those kind of things. Is there something that we've not addressed or that we've?
He had a question over here, just kind of to explain the maximum capacity of this facility. That's how many beds, how many places I can lay somebody down at, is 1,036. There's 90 beds over at the work release center on the hill, and 215 beds downtown. So that's how much Knox County has in jail bed space.
JJ, in addition to the cost of having extra people, could you also address, and having to build a new pod, we're also under a court order and we get fined a certain amount every time we go over. Can you talk a little bit about what that limit is and what happens when we go over it and how much it costs
As
us?
of right now, we're only under the federal court order for the downtown facility, which is 215 beds. And we feel like we've alleviated that problem since I came in. The new pod was built for maximum security prisoners. We moved the maximum security prisoners from the downtown jail into a pod that was made for maximum security prisoners, the safest place we feel that they can be. In doing that, we moved the women downtown, and our women population has increased in the last 3 years over 250%. So everyone at the downtown facility now is female. So we had about 162, I think, this morning. So we figure that we've pretty much done everything we need to do to make sure that the downtown facility will never be overcapped. And again, I hate to say never or impossible, but as long as I'm the sheriff, it's not going to be overcapped.
Okay. Are there any women in this facility?
There are some women out here, and there are some mentally ill.
Females here.
Yeah, the worst.
And of course, and what he says, it's very, very important, but we are getting close. See, all it takes is one more lawsuit. And when we get a little bit higher here, you're going to see that. We're going to get sued. You've just recently seen Anderson County, less than 3 years with a huge building thing, and there's jammed to the wall, and the state took their certification away. Well, we can't function without state certification. That's an impossibility for us.
And also ACA we're accredited through ACA. Those things are huge when you start talking about liability to the taxpayers of Knox County. When you don't have those accreditations, and again, I'd say the last time we went through, we made 99 out of 100. So they do an excellent job, and we're very happy with the way we get rated from both the state and from ACA. But all it takes is to lose one of those. All it takes is to lose one of those accreditations, and the liability goes strictly to the taxpayers.
Basically, the standards of the ACA is standards that have been developed based on lawsuits that have been filed against correctional facilities across the country. It's best practices in the correctional facilities. Is basically what those are set up as.
And it's an intensive thing. They come here and stay 3 days. They come here and stay, for 3 days, and they go through everything: the medical, the kitchen, the freezers. It's a very intensive program, and we've done really well. But
And we have to report to them
yeah,
constantly.
but the capacity is getting to the point where we're going to have to do something.
I think when we talk about that
We're endanger
capacity,
the lives of some of these corrections officers.
Absolutely, and that's what I'm talking about right now.
I hope that we as a community don't walk that road,
Yeah.
that we jeopardize the men and women that agree to come out here and work.
Yeah, we're getting to where that's a real possibility.
and one of the things with the capacity here at this facility, so everybody understands that when we say 1,036, that's every bed. That's our medical unit, which is also a 20-bed infirmary down there that you don't just put anybody in. That's your critically ill or whatever, where the nurses are right working with them. You have your intake pods where when somebody's coming in from the street, there is laws and rules that keeps us from just putting them with anybody. They have to go through a classification process. That classification takes into consideration everything about them, from criminal history, everything else. That keeps your young PI person from getting in with the murderers. There is a classification process there. So when you're looking at that and we say that bed space, you take about 100 of those off just for that process itself. That's building 6 is basically that building that we do that function in. And then on top of that, we have the mental health unit right now that is a 48-bed unit that I think we have 47 in today. And then we have
That's
on
just
top of
being
that.
there. We have women down, we have another 35 downtown women.
Right.
Mental.
And then we have a disciplinary pod out here that also houses up to 72 inmates that you don't just put everybody in with the disciplinary, the ones that are disciplinary problems. If you were coming in for a PI, you don't want to be housed with these people over here slinging stuff.
So to say that you have 1,036 beds.
That's actual
you
beds that
actually
they
do have
submit.
those beds, but there's a percentage of those that you can't use because you can't put certain people with other certain people.
Females and males have to be separated sight and sound. Juveniles that have been put in as tried as an adult has to be separated by sight and sound by state statute. So that, that's where, when you hear those numbers and we say we don't have 1,036 that we can house in, that's where the capacity changes at.
In terms of getting back to expense, JJ, everybody that comes out here has to go through a whole physical, and you have so many hours that every person that is arrested and brought out here has to go through. Therefore,
And I can kind of explain, they have a 14-day, they first
14
have
days.
an initial screening when they come in the door. If they hit on any medical problem or mental health problem on that screening, our contract right now is with Helen Ross McNabb, they have 14 days to see that person once we make a referral to them. Medical has to see them immediately. We have to have 24-hour coverage. If they hit on any area, say they come in, they're a diabetic, they have to see medical right then. So
And
they
we
go
can
through.
What
and
is the
then-
total number of nurses?
The total number of nurses we have are 16 LPNs, and we have 2 LPN2s and 2 RNs.
And people really don't understand this place till you come out here. We talk about the detention facility, but I'm gonna tell you, this is a prison.
We have 4 med passes a day on top of that, so
I mean,
there's,
it's a prison. 3 meals a day, medical, it's amazing. I mean, until you see it, we looked
it
at.
ain't like going
figures
out
on-
and watering the dog and feeding the dog,
It's like-
these are human beings.
It's like, we looked at it and placed it in with the prisons. We fell out of I don't know, it was like 28 prisons in the state of Tennessee. We would file like number 12 in terms of size. So it's, until you see the magnitude of it, you don't realize what goes on out here every day. But you can see that $32.5 million of the sheriff's office budget, this is where it's spent.
JJ, do you offer tours to just the general public if somebody wanted to come out and see?
We're gonna take you all on one because it's special.
But you can't put it on YouTube.
I
Yeah.
offer tours to a number of people today.
Yeah. Hey, JJ,
One-way tour.
another question somebody has asked is, what about